Hello, good evening and welcome. Wednesday evening and round 2 or part 2 of our handmade gift bags. Now I'm going to give you a little recap of what I did on Sunday. So I'm going to get you down onto the desk here and just have a quick recap. We did some little tiny bags using half a sheet of designer series paper. So just small little gifts ideal for jewellery and just little tiny trinket pieces in there. So that's one. We then went on to do a taller one. Okay, so this is a longer with some handles on the top. I showed you how to do this one. Okay, and quite a narrow bag, sorry. So that was quite a narrow one. And then I went on to say about if you don't stick the bottoms together. So this is the bottom all poked in like this. If you were to do this like so and take the tape off there and then stick that down so your tape is placed like that, you can actually store those flat packed and be ready to go whenever you need a gift bag, just simply like so. So that was my recap from Sunday. And today I'm going to be using 2 sheets of designer series paper. I've got a couple of different patterns here. I'm going to do a couple of different sizes again for you. So again, I'm using the same pack of paper. Now these were front and back. These were the designer series paper in the the July to December Celebrate Everything designer series paper. So for bulk things like this, it's quite a good one to use that were a free item if you were to host a party. So I'm going to make sure that I've got the same design in the same corner. So I've got the same going up this way instead of being on their side. Even though they look like fireworks, there is slight difference. Both pieces are going to be scored exactly the same way. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to go through these 3 sides. So right, left and bottom are all going to be the same. The top can vary. But I'm hoping that by the end of this, you will be able to have the confidence to do some boxes and bags of your own. So I'm starting off with this one. I hope so. I've got some people coming in to join me shortly. I'm on Facebook and YouTube. Should all be going well. So I'm going to start off on here in my trimmer at 3 inches. So these 3 sides are all going to be scored at 3 inches. So along that one, turn it, and along the bottom, and then back up the other side. Hi Carol, nice to see you. It just confirms I'm in the right place. So that's the side, the 2 sides and the bottom. So that's that way up. And now the top, it's up to you how much you want to use. I've done this one with 2 different sizes. I have done this at 1 inch, but I think I might do 1.5 inches today. Just to show you can vary whatever you would like. And it is easy actually if you turn it over to do the top. I always leave the top piece till last, okay, because they're going to fold different directions. Now I'm going to do exactly the same as that on the other sheet. So I'm going to come along here at 3 inches. Okay, like I say, I'm going to do 2 different sizes tonight. So 3 inches. 3 inches. I'm lining up on the top and the bottom here to make sure it's nice and straight. And then back up the other side. Okay, these are going to make slightly deeper bags and for bigger gifts. Okay, and again, I will do 1.5 at the top. Or turn it over, sorry, and do 1.5 at the top. 1.5 and 1.5. I love our trimmer because of these markings, and also if you've got smaller pieces of card, you've got the middle rung as well. So you've got 2.5, 2.5, and so 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. Okay. Hi Shaz, nice to see you. Okay, so that's both pieces scored. We will come back to the trimmer shortly. So these are going to be my top edges. Now I'm going to have this so that the pink or polished pink here is going to be the piece on the outside. Okay, so if we do that one first, we kind of know where we're heading. So both pieces are going to be the same. Okay, so we've got a front and a back basically. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So these are now all going to be folded inwards. So you'll run your bone folder along here, and I do go over these creases. We do want everything to lie nice and flat. Okay, and then this way, this is the bottom of the bag, and then again up this side. Okay, and again, on the top here, you're going through multiple layers. So do just crease those nice and strong. Okay, so there is one half of our bag. And then the same with this one. Okay, so along the edges, and make sure that that piece is really firm along there. Okay, the bottom. I said on Sunday the reason I'm doing these is because people are still last minute Christmas shopping and crafters making things. Sometimes we've all got lots of designer series papers. Sometimes it can just be the little tonic that you need just to quickly make a bag or a box. Okay. Oh, that's just now saying I've gone live. Yeah, that's fine. So on here, we're going to do two pieces. We're going to do them differently. So you've got the front and the back. It doesn't matter which way, they are two identical pieces. But this one I'm going to cut up on these two lines up until the score line. So I'm going to come straight along that line there, up to the top, to that crease. Hi Sandra, Merry Christmas to you too, my dear. And straight up to that score line there. Okay, so that is going to come there. Now I'm going to tuck those two pieces out of the way. That is going to be the piece we're going to adhere. And then this one we're actually going to cut the two corner pieces out completely. So again, I start by cutting along that crease into there and then along this edge here. It is hard to see the black. I am okay at this level, but trust me, I'm just along those score lines there. Okay, and then this one the same. These pieces are handy if you've got, if you want to make a tag to hang on there, you can use these pieces to decorate, or even to put them onto a card and coordinate your card accordingly as well. That can be nice. So don't throw, these are quite nice chunky pieces. Okay, so those two pieces have just gone over there out of the way. So I'm going to start now by sticking these two pieces together. So I want to have one, I've tucked these pieces out of the way. Love the paper. It was the Hostess papers, my dear. They were lovely ones to have. They were, if you hold a party, you could, or have a £150 order, you could actually get those for free. And I'm pretty sure they've sold out now. So, excuse me, little sip of water. I am over the worst of all my ailments. Hi Jean, lovely to see you today. I think my Tombow is running out, so I have a new one here. Let me just open that up. So, because I've tucked these two out, I find it a lot easier. Then you know it doesn't matter which way they go, front, top to bottom or bottom to top. It really does not matter. So I'm going to take my Tombow and I'm going to run this round the edge here. Okay, this is a new one and it started off quite loose at the top there. Go there and I just scribble through the middle. Okay, so this panel is just going to sit over the top there. Okay, so you're just lining those up on the score lines. Again, you just have to trust me at this level. You probably can't see that. It was a good afternoon, putting the world to rights, weren't we? There we go. I have got just a little bit oozing out there, a little bit of Tombow. Just wipe that with a tissue. Okay, nothing on the other side, that's good. So now these pieces are going to come in. Hopefully it's all in the camera there, isn't it? Take that away. So these two are now going to have adhesive put on them and they're going to come in and over. So that is now going to sit on the bottom of your box. That's quite handy actually because the camera is going right down the middle there. So these two flaps that I've tucked out of the way are your next piece to work with. So try not to go just quite so near the edges on these. So new Tombow. So I'm going to bring that over and in, and you're going to line it up along this edge here. So I'm lining it from this side, holding that in place and then pressing on the bag on the inside. Okay, and once you're happy where it is and it's nice and straight, you can use a bone folder and just press that down. Okay, so that corner's gone in nicely and the camera, like I say, has shown that well. So I'm now going to turn it around and do the same for this corner. So again, this corner here is just going to have the Tombow round the edge there, quite a bit in from the edge because it's quite juicy, a new one. So I'm going to bring that over and over again. So I'm lining it up on this outside edge. You can see where my hands are. So lining it up there, press it down, and then we can turn it around and just use the bone folder inside. Okay, so it's a nice clean lines. Okay, I haven't made this style for a little while, but I just had to have a quick test tonight just to make sure that I was refreshing myself. So this is going to be the size of your bag. You'll see quite different to yesterday's, as it's quite a wide box and it's quite deep. You can still poke those edges in if you want, but that's going to be the size. So if you know our bone folder, it's about, I think it's 6 inches. I want to say 6 inches by 3 inches. I will measure those in a sec. But now we're just going to work on these outside edges here. Now one is going to tuck under the other. So one is going to come under here. Okay, what you don't want to have, they will fit nicely together. You don't want to have this second lip here. It's just hanging down here, isn't it? Because you've got a layer inside a layer. So on one side, so I'm going to use this side, and I'm going to taper these from here, just a tiny little bit in, and I'm going to go into that point. Okay, when we do boxes, we taper. So this is going to be the same. It's going to taper from there into that edge, just there. Okay, and just taking that piece out. And we're going to do the same on the other side. So we want to just make sure we've got roughly the same. You won't see it, but just taper that piece away into that corner. You can see where I'm going into there. Just pull that away that way. Okay, so these are going to be your inside edges. So these are going to come inside here. And now when you put those together, you'll be nice and neat and perfect. Okay, so I'm going to put some adhesive on this whole side now. We're going to glue this panel down and glue this inside here. Okay, so I will do the whole of this piece because we're going to place that down and inside, and then we will put some adhesive on here as well. Okay, so just pull one out of the way for now, and we're going to come down here. You can use tape on it, double-sided tape, so you can get exactly where you want it to be, and then do the wings and just pull the other sides out. It's entirely up to you which you're comfortable with, because we all like different adhesives. So I'm just going to do both sides of this, ready for when that goes inside. Okay, so then this piece is going to be inside there, straighten up the corner, and we just press it into place. Okay, hold that together nicely. Okay, and then I use a ruler, or on these big ones you can use a hand. You could use a bone folder whilst you can get all the way to the bottom. Okay, or if you do a deep box and you can't get down there, use your ruler. Okay, a 12-inch ruler. So that one has gone facing backwards here. So this one is going to go the same. It's going to face forward. So we're going to do exactly the same. So we're going to put the adhesive on this panel, and we're going to go both sides inside there. Okay, a nice size. Yes, it is. 2 sheets of designer series paper, and I bet most of you have got spare designer series papers. We all have papers that we love, we can't bear to part with, but it gets to a storage situation whereby we kind of have to. We have to get rid of them, and I'm definitely in that position. I've got so many I need to use up. Okay, so I've tucked it in there nice and tight. Make sure all the corners match. Make sure that's all in order. Turn it over, and then we can press on here. So you've got a double wall here. It's designer series paper, but it's a double wall, so it has extra strength. Okay, so that is my hand size. So you can see that one. I will just measure it for you. So it is, yeah, 6 by 3. We scored the edges at 3, so it should be 6 by 3. Now, these edges here, if you want to put a little piece of adhesive under there, you can, just to stop that from lifting. When I did them the other night, I didn't do them because they tend to hold themselves down nicely. Rub the bone folder over there. But with a bigger bag, it kind of will maybe start to just sort of lift a little bit. You just want to put a little piece under there. Press it together and rub that on the inside. Okay, so it didn't really take long at all. Now you can vary these sizes. I will do a second size bag. So I'm going to do the other side first, and then we will do the handles. Okay, we did those the other night, but then I also want to show you a strengthener for the bottom of the box, the bag. I keep saying box and it's bag, sorry. So this one we're going to do slightly different. We're going to do it at 3.5 centimetres, only a little bit more, but we're going to do 3.5 on these 3 sides. This pattern hasn't got a one-way design on it. Okay, so 3.5 inches on 3 sides, 3.5, 3.5, and then 3.5 again. Okay, and then the top, I like that depth, so I think I'll keep that at 1.5. But if you wanted to have this as a deeper border, you could. If you wanted a narrow border, you could. So you can vary your measurements. Just experiment with that. Don't be afraid to experiment. So 1.5 on there and there. Oops, in there, in that. Oh, I meant to turn that one over and do it from the other way. So we'll just do that way, just to give it a nicer finish. Okay, so 1.5 on there. So that's 3.5, 3.5, 3.5, and 1.5 at the top. And do the same again on this piece. So 3.5. And again, if you've got a one-way design, like I said with the fireworks, you do tend to have one direction on there, or flowers with stems. Anything that's got a one-way design, anything with words on it as well. Just make sure that they both start off the same way. So that's 3.5 on those 3 sides, and we'll keep 1.5 on this. So I'm going to do it all over again, just so you can see the differences with a different size, and I'm going to turn that over and score that from the other way. So 1.5 and 1.5. Okey-doke. So these 3 sides are going to be the outside, so I'm going to fold those in. Bone folder. Those 3 sides. And then this one is going to turn the opposite way out, so this is going to be our trim. Okay, you can see it's coming down quite a bit narrower, but it's going to be a fatter box, a wider one. So I want the top is going to face outwards, and then these ones will fold inwards. And again, make sure that this corner here, these double layers are scored heavily to keep it nice and flat. And the bottom. There we go. I think you've all fallen asleep. So there we go, you get the gist. So that's 2 sides. So we're going to cut the sides up here, up to the bottom score line. Okay. Cut up to the middle and up to the middle. I'm going to do everything exactly the same order that I did before, I hope. So that is going to be my one where I'm going to tuck those 2 panels out of the way. And then this one, I'm going to remove those 2 corners. So again, come up this way first, the same as you did before. And then take that corner out. And if you do make some bags like this, please do pop your a photo of your creation in the comments below. I always like to see what people have done, being inspired. Okay, so these 2 corner panels are coming out. Okay, again, keep those pieces a nice big size. And now we come to the top here. We're going to have this side is the inside of our bag, so we're going to stick those together on that panel. So tombow around the edge. So if you want to use double-sided tape or a tape runner, then feel free. And then this, because I've tucked those out of the way, this is going to come over the top. Okay, and just line those up nicely. Again, the bone folder to press that firmly. Okay, now we're going to taper these side pieces, because we're going to, on one piece, we're going to taper from the edge here down to the point. So I'll do that this side, not on the other. Just a little way in from the edge there. You probably can see that better on the white against the black, and just taper that down into the point. Okay, that in the bin, and then the same in reverse the other side. The taper from here and hold it down at that point there. Just a little bit. There we go. So now we're going to build this piece up like so into the corner. Okay, and then we're going to have this one will come in and tuck underneath there. It doesn't matter which way as long as they overlap. So first corner, and I remember that it comes in and it comes over. This outside edge where my finger is here is nice and straight. With the Tombow you do get that little bit of wiggle room, so you've got room to slide. Okay, make sure that's sealed down, and then press with the bone folder. And then the same with this one. Adhesive around the outside. Scribble in the middle, and it comes inwards and then along. So again, this one's got the edge here is flush with the outside. Press on the inside. When you're happy, you're going to just run the bone folder along there, like so. So that's most of it done, and now we've got the tapered one is going to be stuck underneath this one and come in and adhere in there nice and firmly. Okay, so we will put the adhesive onto this side just like before. So I just open this up slightly just to get the adhesive in here. It's not coming out very fast. Leave a little border along those edges. Scribble through the middle, and then just on this top piece. Okay, so we've got our side. This will tuck inside, and lock in nice and tightly. Okay, nice and square. Turn it over, and then we can run this inside. I just had a message flash up. I don't think that was to do with the video. Are you all still there? So this one is going to go the opposite way now, because this is my tapered side. So we're going to put the adhesive on this side again. It'll be near enough to the edge without the adhesive oozing out. Okay, and again, just open that up slightly. I can see something just flashed up. You're concentrating. Love it, Jane. More glue just going on my trousers. So I've gone around the edges there, and this is the tapered edge. The tapered edge has to be the one that hides. Okay, tuck it in nicely. You've got a few seconds to move about with your Tombow. I do prefer the Tombow for that reason. So make sure it's in there nice and square. Press down, and then get my bone folder to enhance those edges. So this one's going to be slightly bigger than the other box. I'll get those out of the way. So bring them both back on. So that, just by making ½ an inch difference, this is the size difference you've got for the box. It's quite a bit wider, a bit shorter, and a bit fatter. You can see the difference there. You've got another ½ an inch. So you've got different dimensions, but it's making it bigger for depends on what gift you're giving. It is just a case of experimenting. Now I'm just going to lift this and just put a little bit underneath here. Just a tiny little bit, just squeeze a little piece out there. Okay, I don't tend to do the sides, but if it's a bigger box you might want to. It's just if it's going to gape a little bit really. Okay, just put it under all the edges. The smaller ones don't really matter, they don't tend to gape. The sides hold it in place. So once you've got all four, I'm going to run the bone folder around one last time. There we go. So I'll use this one for the next pieces. So if you turn it on its bottom and you measure the piece here, this one's actually 6 by 3.5. So I'm going to cut a piece just 1/4 of an inch less than that. So I'm going to go 3 1/4 by 5 3/4. So 3 1 by 5 3/4. Now I'm going to cut. I just want to strengthen the bottom of this box. So I'm going to take a piece of card. And if I remember what I just said, 5 3/4 that way. So just measure that for size. So 5 3/4. I can't remember what I said. No, it's 5. So it's 4 3/4. 4 3/4 this way. By, I'll measure again. I think it's 3 1/4. 3 1/2. So I'll do 3 1/4 this way. So 3 1/4. So it's just 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 centimetre less on each side. Now you can test this on the outside, okay, and you're just going to place that on the inside there. So again, you've got the yellow on there in the inside, but this is colouring in with the paper. It's entirely up to you what colours you want to do on here. I've chosen the black because obviously it's a black box, a black bag. Going all the way around the outside, a scribble through the middle. And I will drop this into the bottom of the bag. Okay. Sorry, I'll get my head in the way here now. You want to just place that a small border around the outside edge and then press it down. It's only to act as a strengthener. It is a little bit fiddly. Just trying to get it back off the bottom there. I'll take it off camera. You don't want to see my head in the way, do you? There we go. Got it. Okay, now here is where I use my Tombow, an old Tombow, with the bottom end of it, and I will go along and I'll press on the bottom. It's a bigger area than your ruler is, and it's just to make sure that it's held in place. Okay, it just gives it that little bit of stiffener on the bottom. So depending on what you've got inside, it will just make it stronger. So with this one, I will do the same as we did on Sunday, and I'm going to measure in a distance in from the edge here as to what you'd like to have the little holes cut. Now, depends on which punch you want to use. I have a crocodile. Oh, crocodile's there. This contraption looks a bit brutal, but it is an old one I've had for a while. And Stampin' Up did them. I didn't buy the Stampin' Up one because I already had this one, but this has holes on the outside here and on this side here. Now, I mentioned the other night that you can also use a hole punch. So you've got a single hole punch works well. Obviously for a double hole punch, an office punch, you wouldn't be able to get that in there so easily on the smaller bags. So what I tend to do is say, right, where would I like my holes to be? If I grab a white pen and I would measure in from the edges. So like say here, I would measure in, it's 4 3/4. So I'd maybe go for 1 1/4 from that end there, and 3.5 from there. Okay, so that is a good spacing, and if you work it out on a piece of card first, you can then take your hole punch in fully all the way in and punch it out, and then do it again. And then you can call that your template, because if I was to put that on there, measure it evenly between the handles, so either side. We know that this is going to be the side along the edge of the card, the top of the edge here. And now I can get just a pencil, which I had here just now, and I've lost. Where have you gone? There, it's hiding. So I'm just going to mark that with a pencil as to where my holes are there. Okay, and once you've made a template for that size box, you can just keep it and use it for all your handles. Okay, so I'm just flush with the top here, round there and round there. Okay, then this is just going to be my spacing. So I take this in as far as I can, punch out my hole, move it along, punch out my hole. Okay, turn it over, and we do the same. Punch out the hole. Going through 2 thicknesses, but it's only the designer series paper, so it's not thick. And there we go. So if I just dust all of those little pieces off the table. There we go, and there's our even spaces. Okay, so this would be nice with handles that are loose. So I think I decided on this one to go with this is the fine art ribbon. Now this might be a retired one, I can't remember whether it's still in there. Some of these products carry forward and some don't. Now, I showed you on Sunday how to attach these in the centre here and keep them nice and flat so they're out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to start off by putting a piece of double-sided tape along that, between the 2 handles. You could just put it through and tie a knot in the inside. I just find that they are too bulky. Come along there. And you can just see the tape on the inside there between the 2 holes. Same on the other side. There we go. And so I've got that on both sides. So I would say measure your length of your handles next as to what you'd like to have. Bigger gift, a bigger bag, wider, you maybe want to have longer handles. I don't know why. So I'll cut 2 pieces the same length. It doesn't matter what the length is, just work with what you're happy with. Okay, so I'm going to remove the tape from this side. Okay, and then we'll poke this through from one side. Okay, and we're going to put it halfway along between the 2 handles. We want it to be flat. Just pull that back a little bit. So it lays flat inside there like that. Then we bring this other end and we make sure it's nice and flat. We don't want it to be twisted at all. It's coming through here. Yeah, I have templates for all sorts, Shaz. I have a Ziploc bag. In fact, I have a 12-inch Ziploc bag now. I used to have an A4 one, but I do things on 12-inch now so much. I tend to have a 12-inch Ziploc bag. So I put any dummy run pieces, like with measurements written on them. Just taking that frayed edge off there. Before I started, I should have just neatened that edge. So there is my template, and there is my handle stuck beautifully. Okay, same again the other side. So take away your tape, your end piece come in. You can even write on your template as to what size that box was. So you could write on here template, got a white pen, so you could put template. And then maybe put bag handles. Then you could put 12-inch DSP, and then you could go on to write your score measurements on there. But that could be your template, so you know next time you come to it, not only have you got your template to hand, you've actually got all your measurements on there. Just put the lid on that so it doesn't dry out. So we're going to just pull that one back, lay that one flat in here, along the inside of my bag, facing that way. Okay, and then nice and flat all the way round. Okay, and there. And then I haven't got any tags out to make tonight to decorate. My theme was just to show you the bags tonight, just so that we can make gift bags to give to people over the festive period or birthdays, any occasion. Okay, and there's your handles. Okay, so there's your bag. It's a nice big deep bag, nice and square. Okay, if you want to, you can pinch these sides in like I mentioned on Sunday. It's entirely up to you. If you wanted to, depending on your gift inside, you could pinch those in, and then you could maybe just squeeze it in and then put a piece of sellotape across the middle. I tend to keep mine open if I can, like so. Okay, because I like to scrunch tissue paper in there. But that is your box for tonight. Okay, so that is the 2 sheets of DSP, and this is the other one. So this would be done exactly the same. So I think I missed a side there. Look, I didn't catch on that edge. Oh look, now I've put too much. Just gaping a little bit. Bone folder back. There we go, not gaping now. So that's that one, and like I say, I'll do some handles for this one as well, the same. And again, you can just nip those in if you wanted to. Okay, really nice idea. Make your templates for whatever you want to do, and keep them. Just keep them in a little container somewhere or a little reference point. Okie doke. So have fun making your bags, using up your designer series paper. I know we can't bear to part with it, but sometimes we just must. We need to use our supplies. Okay, so then we can have more supplies and new products coming in the new catalogues. Okay, so if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't followed me already, please just hit the like and subscribe button, and then you'll be notified when I release other ones that come out. Okay, and thanks for following me. I think everybody's on Facebook tonight on here, and I know people come back and watch it later on repeat. Okay, so take care. I will be back on Sunday is Christmas Day, isn't it? Now, I probably won't do Christmas Day. I might do Christmas Eve or Boxing Day. We'll see. I'll see how Christmas Eve goes. It won't be Boxing Day because I'll be in the car Boxing Day evening. Okay, so but I'll pop on at some point. You will see me crop up. Okay, I'll be back. Anyway, have a